We're making a unit today. To make a unit, there's 3 parts: the sprite, the balancing, and the effects. And all of them, I'm not good at, but I'll try my best. So, sprite, yeah, let's go spriting, yeah, spriting, yeah. Okay, so the first step of making a unit is usually to use your darkest color to sketch out the shape of the unit. And you just kind of do it to whatever you seem fit. In this case, I'm making a tier 2 air unit. So I'm making the shape sort of more airplane shaped with wings to represent it's being an air unit. The second step after you get the shape of the unit is to not use the midtone and instead use the light tone, the lightest tone you have, to start marking out where all the light is hitting the unit. So what you can do is imagine a sun right in front of the unit, shining towards the unit. And wherever the light hits, you can mark as light. For example, here I made the head of the unit light, and you can also use the light to section off, I guess, some parts of the unit to make it not one big chunk of cardboard, and have more layers to it and have more sort of parts that looks like they're attached together instead of having one hunk of metal. And that usually makes units look more unit-like. In this step, I also started doing the decals, which is the color that's on the units. They're usually used to just give the units color and mark their unit classes. And in this situation, the class is experimental, which is this orange. Make sure the color of your decal has enough contrast with the whole of the unit to not make it blend in too much. And yeah, just go until you feel like it looks 3-dimensional and not flat. After you have your basic unit shading and the decals and where they're supposed to be, you can start adding the midtone. And the midtone is the color that's in between the light and dark. And it serves as a transition between the light and dark to make some parts of the unit look less jarring and smoother in result. And there isn't much I can say about adding midtone. It's usually just experience to like see where you add them looks the best. And in this case, added some near light and dark tone transitions and some places that were supposed to be light tone but more in the back, so the light shouldn't hit them less, which causes them to be midtone. And the final step before you 45-degree everything is to shade the decals. This step is relatively simple compared to others. You just need to get the dark tone of the decals, and you just have to do the same thing as the units, except with less detail in the shading. So in this case, I just did a simple dark tone in the back, light tone in the front sort of thing, and it works. Another thing I forgot to mention that I should have at the beginning was to keep all the details consistent. You want all of your sprites details to have around the same size to make the entire thing look together as one unit instead of a bunch of smaller units is the best way to describe it. Of course, all I'm saying right now is they're only suggestions. You don't have to follow them, but this is like the best way to make a unit look good, in my opinion, I guess. And here's the final thing. After you shade the decals, you just have to make all the angles on the unit 45 degrees, which is really boring to watch, so I just skipped that step. And I also made a couple tweaks on where the light tone is and the dark tone is, you know, just some tweaks on the shading after I 45 degreed it to make it look better. And here's the final result. I'm happy with it. And yeah, you also have to make a cell for the unit, but you don't really need a tutorial for that. Like, come on, you're better than this. Come on now.